Wassup Agents, Epic Slayers here, welcome back to a brand new Division video. So, just want to apologise if I sounded overly excited in my last video. I genuinely was that excited when I found out about the release of the Division 2. A massive surprise for me, but I'm sure it was for you guys as well, but hopefully you did enjoy the video. Today, I want to go over the PTS patch notes for 1.8.1. Well, PTS actually started today on the PC, and I thought it would be a good idea to go over, the new global events and what's part of that PTS, because ultimately that's what we're going to be getting in 1.8.1 once all of that's gone through. So if you do enjoy this one, drop a like and let's get to it. So agents, let's talk about the new global events. We've got Global Event 5, which is Blackout, and we've got Global Event 6, which is Onslaught. Now with Blackout, always active, agents are equipped with shock ammo that stuns enemies. Shooting or running builds your charge meter. The more charge, the more damage you inflict. Extreme Blackout is blackout behavior, plus you can instantly kill enemies with overcharged melee attacks, but if you miss, you will stun yourselves and your allies. From what I can tell, your bar needs to be around 75 to 85% for you to actually proc that insta-kill. And then lastly, Total Blackout is extreme blackout behavior, plus your charge meter will cool down faster when close to other group members. That seems like pretty cool global event, so looking forward to that. Global Event 6, Onslaught, always active, deal burn, bleed and gas effects to enemies in addition to normal damage. Reload to change the effect. Then we've got Savage Onslaught, which is Onslaught behavior, plus enemies are vulnerable to one effect type and resistant to others. Agents take increased damage from resistant enemies. And then lastly, Brutal Onslaught, which is Savage Onslaught behavior, plus when 2 or more group members kill a vulnerable enemy within 2 seconds, each member can reload to gain damage, a damage bonus for a single clip. Wow, that's a long sentence. I'm not entirely sure about that one. We'd obviously have to test that out. And again, I've not played either of these. I'm not part of the PTS because I'm not on PC. I'm just going off what people have said. So looking forward to seeing how that one actually plays out. So I'm not quite so sure about that one. Moving on to some new addition and game changes. So we've got the new commendations, over 40 new commendations unlockable in the new global events. We've got the 2 new legendary difficulty missions, which are Amherst Apartment and Grand Central Station. And for the game changes, we've obviously got the Division Tech increases, which is great. Really looking forward to that. Daily combat, crafting, survival and dark zone quests now reward the player with 25 Division Tech each. Weekly open world and weekly underground assignments reward the player with 100 Division Tech each. Season pass supply drops now reward 100 Division Tech, which is great because the Season Pass really hasn't offered that much. Supply drops have been useless for a very long time. So I will actually go and open those supply drops now, knowing I'm going to get 100 Division Tech. Vendor changes, added a classified gear cache to the special vendor that guarantees 1 classified gear piece from the entire pool. I think that actually costs around 2,500 Phoenix credits. It doesn't say that in the patch notes, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Global Events vendor, remove the basic cache from the vendor. Each global event will now have individual caches per classified gear set for that global event. This allows the players to purchase, for example, a Firecrest cache that guarantees 1 item from that set. Bosses in the Resistance game mode now award 100 global event tokens. So yeah, I think that's pretty cool. I mean, the problem I always have is I can open 50 caches in a global event and I never ever manage to complete a 6-piece of something. Or I can open more than that. At the moment, on the new global, well, the second global event, Assault, I think I've opened upwards of 40 caches. I don't have 1 completed gear set from that event yet. I mean, it's crazy. So yeah, I'm pretty happy about that. Moving on, exotic loot drops. Removed premium vendor exotics from open world loot pool and exotic caches. All exotics added to the open world bosses. I think that's a great addition. Something we've all been asking for a very long time. Classified gear drop rates. Classified drop rates chances have increased in all locations. Legendary missions now have a 20% chance to give classified gear as a reward at the completion of the mission. Season Pass supply drops now have a 10% chance to drop classified gear, and survival caches now has roughly a 10% chance to drop classified gear. I think the best addition for that overall is the survival caches, because people don't play survival because they don't get the rewards. I understand that survival is not really about rewards, it's about the experience, I get that, but people are not going to play survival if they don't get rewards. It's as simple as that. So having this in there is really good. I'm glad they've introduced that. Lastly, classified gear. Classified Firecrest 6-piece talent now gives immunity to the player's own fire. Wow. I mean, that took them a long time to do. That's been in the game for ages, so I'm really glad that they've looked into that and they've changed it. Really cool. So yeah, we'll go on to the bug fixes, but I won't go into too much detail over those. I'll just point out the ones which I think are worth talking about, and I will leave, obviously, the full patch notes in the comments. Oh, sorry, the description below. Moving on to the additions for 1.8.1 along with the game changes, we've got 40 new commendations unlockable in the new global events and the 2 new legendary difficulty missions being Amherst Apartment and Grand Central Station. Now onto the game changes. So we've got division tech increases, which is daily combat, crafting, survival and dark zone quests now reward the player with 25 div tech each. Weekly open world and weekly underground assignments reward the player with 100 division tech each. Season Pass supply drops now reward 100 division tech, which is great. I'm really glad they've increased those or increased the division tech, because that's one thing I'm lacking, and I'm really glad they've included it in the supply drops. Actually gives me a reason to actually go and open those supply drops now. So moving on, we've got vendor changes. Added a classified gear cache to the special vendor. That guarantees 1 classified gear piece from the entire pool. Really happy about that. Global events vendor removed the basic cache from the vendor. Each global event will now have individual caches per classified gear set for the global event. This allows the player to purchase, for example, a Firecrest cache that guarantees 1 item from that set. Bosses in the Resistance game mode now award 100 global event tokens. Going back to the added a classified gear cache, the special vendor, I think that costs around 2,500 Phoenix credits from what I remember. It might even be the full 5,000. It doesn't mention it in these notes, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. In respect of obviously the individual caches, I think that's a great idea, because me personally, with the current global event, which is Assault, I've probably opened 40 plus caches. I don't have one completed 6-piece yet. In fact, I've only got, the highest I've got is 5-piece on Reclaimer. I'm missing 2 pieces off Striker and 4 pieces off Sentry. So yeah, I'm really glad that it allows you to pick the class. It doesn't let you pick the exact item, but at least the class, it narrows it down a little bit. That really does help out a lot. And moving on to exotic loot drops, remove premium vendor exotics from open world loot pool and exotic caches. All exotics added to the open world bosses. This is something we've been crying for a very long time, and I'm very glad it's been implemented, and I'm pretty sure that will stay into 1.8.1. And then we've got the classified gear drop rates. Classified drop rate chances have increased in all locations. Legendary missions now have a 20% chance to give classified gear as a reward at the completion of the mission. Season Pass, I said pass, I meant pass, supply drops now have a 10% chance to drop classified gear, and survival caches now have roughly a 10% chance to drop classified gear. What we do know about the increase in all locations, I believe it's gone from 3% to 6%, and I will say that I'm glad they've actually put a 10% chance for classified gear in survival caches, because that might give people a lot more reason to play survival. Now, I completely understand where people say it's not about the the loot in that particular mode, it's more about the experience, and I get that. I absolutely love the survival. I haven't played it for some time because I don't get the loot there. People want loot. I don't, no matter how the experience is, people want loot, and I think this is a good way of introducing that chance. You're still getting that experience, of course. And then lastly, classified Firecrest 6-piece talent now gives immunity to the player's own fire. I will have to say, this should have been put in the game ages ago. It don't make sense that you were not immune to your own fire. I mean, yeah. I'm glad that they've changed that. It might actually mean that I can use Firecrest again. What I would have liked to have seen with Firecrest is they need to increase the damage a little bit, just because it's been nerfed so much now that it's not viable. It's certainly not viable in PvP anyway. So yeah, there you go. There's a lot of bug fixes that have come out for 1.8.1, so I will leave the full patch notes in the description below. You guys can go check that out. But that is all. Hopefully you enjoyed this one. If you did, drop a like on this video. If you're excited for the Division 2, which I'm sure you are, then I'm looking for 500 likes. I'm sure you guys can do that. If you can, that'll be absolutely awesome. Until the next one, Epic out.